Hi everyone, it's Simon Keeling here, weatherweb.net, and it is Wednesday the 10th of April. Thanks again for watching. Remember, we're kept free of charge by the adverts that you see around the screen here. It's by you coming back and using the site and using the adverts. It's that keeps us free of charge, so thanks for doing that. Now, some warm temperatures on the way over the next few days, particularly this weekend. This is the maximum temperature forecast chart for Sunday, and just look at this. Temperatures predicted to be at 20 to 21 degrees across parts of the Eastern Midlands and East Anglia. I actually think it's probably going to be the northern home counties into the southeastern parts of England, probably this sort of area here that sees the warmest of the temperatures, and I'm going to go for a maximum of 23 degrees in that area. You can see that many other places are warm too. Generally we're going to be seeing temperatures typically between about 12 and 14 degrees, so certainly a real shock to the system after what we've got used to over the last few weeks. Now, I thought we'd use the ECMWF today. It looks as if that's providing the best of solutions. This is the chart from midnight last night. So this is the analysis chart. Low pressure dominating things here, look, across the south of the UK. And this is what's pushing rain northwards. Last of the cold weather at the moment is centred just up towards the north of the country, with this easterly wind just feeding that cool air. But warm southwesterly winds wafting up from the Atlantic, trying to get rid of that cold air, gradually breaking it down. So this is the chart for midnight on Friday then. You see the area of low pressure down towards the southwest deepening a little bit. Also more of an area of low pressure developing across southern parts of England. That will be tracking its way north through Friday, bringing some outbreaks of rain across parts of East Anglia, the southern Midlands, through Wales as well. And eventually we'll be clearing away towards the east. But notice that the flow here, the jet stream flow, which you can see there, it's the colours basically on these charts, starting to come in from the west or the southwest, bringing that warmer air. And then by midnight on the 12th, so this is midnight on Friday, you see low pressure there centred over in Southern Ireland, a deeper area of low pressure moving in. That moves into the North Sea, takes some outbreaks of rain with it, and then we find this deepening feature out towards the west here during the course of Saturday. But the good news is that with that low tracking towards the west of Scotland, it brings in this warmer air down from the up from the southwest. And you notice here that kink there, look, in the heights. That's a ridge building in as the warm air pumps its way northwards, builds those heights. It's that's going to be bringing the warm weather. By Sunday, the low is to the west of Ireland, you can see there, and look at that hump there. That is the ridge building through on Sunday. Just trace the isobars back here and you can see where the air is originating from, down over northern parts of Africa, coming up over Spain, coming up through France, and eventually into the UK, which is why it is going to be so warm. Not quite so good though out towards the west. There will be some rain through Ireland and the western parts of Scotland. Also bits and pieces of rain for western Wales and northwest England as the front moves in, but generally for many it's going to be dry. That warm flow persists through Monday with the ridge staying over the east. Lower pressure is out towards the west, but generally we're staying in this milder southwesterly flow. For Tuesday, the southwesterly flow continues, although the jet stream is meandering here, look, across Ireland, across western parts of Scotland. What that means is that these mini areas of low pressure can run along the jet stream, bringing rain into Ireland and Scotland at times. Lighter rain across western parts of Wales and western parts of England, although not entirely sure how far south and east that's going to progress, but generally at the moment it looks like Monday's dry across southern and eastern parts and central parts of England, with good sunny spells and staying warm. And then into Wednesday, staying with that southwesterly flow, got the area of low pressure out towards the west, but you see this ridge building through. That's what brings the good conditions. Again, it's western Scotland and western Ireland that sees rain, but for most it looks as if it should be dry with some good spells of sunshine. Perhaps a little bit of low cloud in the southwest, but many just staying fair and warm. And then into Thursday, the ridge is still there. And we see similar conditions for Friday too. The high actually getting its act together, forming as a separate high as far as the ECMWF sees it. This big ridge by then building through. And by the last chart on the 20th, you see high pressure centred across the country here. That would bring in some warm conditions, although as that gets squeezed back up towards the north as we head into the end of the weekend, into the early part of the week, what it would tend to do is introduce cooler north or northeasterly winds across the south of the country, perhaps allowing this low to the south to move northwards, bringing bits and pieces of rain to southern England around the 23rd, 24th, although northern parts of the country, the Midlands, probably northern England, Wales and Ireland would generally stay on the dry side. and all that tending to tie in with what the CFS and the ensembles have been telling us over the last few days. Now, if we just compare the charts here, give us some idea of how consistent the models are. This is the chart for midnight on the 20th from the Canadian model. Again, you see the big ridge in here and high pressure over the country, so we've got good agreement there. GFS ensemble somewhat out on its own. It's only got a weak ridge across us by midnight on the 20th. So certainly not building the ridge to the same extent that the other models were. But I think this one probably is resorting to type and is trying to bring the southwesterlies in too quickly. In terms of rainfall, not completely dry. Most of this rain tending to fall in the early stages, but you can see how it's generally more western and southern parts of the country that sees most of the rain at sort of 20 to 30 millimetres drier towards the east. This is the rainfall for the next week, ending at midnight on the 18th. So overall, a good spell of weather to come. Not entirely dry, but certainly warmer temperatures than we've seen. All areas, like I say, are going to be seeing some rain, most of it towards the west and the south of the country, but really I think that the big news story is that we're finally seeing the back of these cold conditions, at least for the time being. And of course, the further on we go into spring, the less chance there is of when the east or northeasterly wind does return, it'll be as cold as it was. So although we might see temperatures still fall a little bit from where they'll be this weekend, I think we've seen the back of the desperately cold conditions. So some good news to end on. Thanks again for watching. Remember, the site is kept free of charge by you coming back and using the site, using the adverts. That's what keeps us free of charge. So thank you for doing that, and thanks for watching. Keep the sun shining, and bye for now.